Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. I'm here at the famed Iridium Jazz Club here in New York City, and tonight Alfred Pee Wee Ellis takes the stage with Mulgrew Miller, as well as the legendary Ron Carter on bass and the legendary Jimmy Cobb on drums. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of Mr. Pee Wee Ellis. How did you put this ensemble together? You have Mulgrew Miller and your good friend Ron Carter and Jimmy Cobb on drums. How did they approach you to do this set?
I approached them. And the Iridium approached me, and I wanted to do this kind of a gig for a long time. I mean, I've been waiting for a long time to play with these guys. And it's a real pleasure. And I'm really happy to have a chance to do it.
You and Ron go back quite a bit, back to the late 50s. How is it playing with Ron again after all these years?
Wonderful as usual. And how else could it be? I mean, it's Ron Carter, you know. Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginnings. How did you get christened the name Pee Wee?
Well, I could tell you the dirty version, but then it wouldn't be nice. The clean version is I was a small kid and hang out with the big guys. And they called me Pee Wee because I was small. You know, Pee Wee means little. And I used to be a skinny kid, believe it or not. And it kind of stuck, you know, so there you go.
Musically, what were you into growing up as a child, and what led you to the saxophone?
Well, I was into R&B, gospel, country music, and then bebop came into my life. Walking to school one day in Lubbock, Texas, I heard something coming out of a bar on the jukebox. It was Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. And I stood there and was late for school, but I knew something was happening there that I wanted to be involved with. So the rest is history.
Now, I understand when your family moved to Rochester, New York, you took the saxophone very seriously.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And let's fast forward to when you moved to New York. You went to the Manhattan School of Music. What was it that you really wanted to pursue when you entered that school?
I went to Manhattan at night, in night classes for arranging and writing. I was doing a lot of writing, and that's what I wanted to do.
And from 1960 to 1965, what were you doing in between those years? Besides studying and becoming a professional musician?
That's about it. There's not much else to do if you're gonna be a professional musician. That's all you got to do. Just keep on doing it and just try to do it the best you can.
One of the things that has been your strong point is that you've been a dynamic arranger as well as a conductor and band leader and a writer. Were those some of the things that you came out coming in New York? Did you know that was in your heart? That was something that God had given you, that talent to do?
Yes, always. Yeah. It was no surprise to me. It's just something I've been wanting to do, and I pursued it, and I'm doing it.
This is my first time ever working with Mr. Ellis, and it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful week, and I have to confess a certain amount of ignorance about his whole life in this music that we call jazz. I knew of him through his association with James Brown, but I was delighted to find how deeply he's into the jazz tradition, and how deep his playing comes out of that tradition, and how accomplished he is. It's been just wonderful. So hopefully this is one of the new relationships that I've formed in this music, and I hope to be able to play with him again.
Well, Pee Wee is like kind of my music arranger sometimes. He does a lot of good stuff for us time to time. You know, like he did an album like back in the '80s where he conducted and did most of the music. You know, and the album did pretty good. It was called Eternal Sideman at the time. But a little later they changed the name of it. And Pee Wee's was really the one that helped us to get through that. And it had a lot of good people on it. It had Freddie Hubbard playing the trumpet, Dave Liebman playing the saxophone. They had Gregory Hines sang about 3 songs on it, and it was a recording and a video. So Pee Wee had a lot to do with the success of that.
Tell me about your time with Creed Taylor. Those were some well-produced and very well sides that you did between 1969 and 1975.
Yeah, I had fun doing that stuff, you know, and that's what I wanted to do, and I enjoyed it, and I did as much as I could of it, and I had to move on to California because I was living in the Bronx and they were starting to burning it up, so I moved.
It seemed like Creed Taylor let you do exactly what you want to do in your head with a lot of those artists: Esther Phillips, Hank Crawford, Ron Carter, George Benson. What were some of the things that your fondest memories of Creed Taylor, and also some of the artists that you work with there?
My fondest memory of Creed Taylor, I enjoy watching him read the paper while we record. You know, and I was on the road with Esther Phillips, and we got to do something that we have been wanting to do, was be our own boss, you know, and produce a record and play what we wanted to play, you know, and have fun, and I enjoyed that. Esther was a wonderful person, a great artist, and she's very much missed and very underrated.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace. I'd like to thank Pee Wee Ellis for his time. He was exhausted. Happy 69th birthday, Pee Wee. Please visit my website, www.thepacereport, for my past video and also radio archives, as well as my weekly column. Again, until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Until next time, peace.